My next guest, he and I were chatting about the midterms and how they might sort of pan out. A couple of things that Zane Tankel was reminding me about is that sometimes you have to beware of polls that might not reflect the reality. In other words, people who are seeing the benefit of those tax cuts in their checks and liking it. There might be something to what Zane is saying, because some of these latest numbers that show how people are likely to vote right now has narrowed in favor of, still in favor of Democrats, but not by the double-digit gap that existed before. The man behind Apple Metro, CEO, he's very big in the fast food industry, but has oddly enough stayed very, very thin, which makes me leery of him. Very good to see you, Zane.
Thanks, Neil. Same.
You raise a very good point that this is something that people are seeing. I've talked to all types who like what they're seeing.
Yeah.
But how real is that when it comes to shopping that to the polls?
Well, it is real, and if I may, just on this trade war thing, the reality is no one knows anything, and no one knows where it's coming. Everybody's at a best guess, so it's a little like you might appear shooting a bird with a nuclear missile. On the trade war kind of thing. We're overreacting. Last minute, we don't shoot the missile, and we got what we wanted anyway. I'm not sure Donald Trump knows where he's going.
But he is right to say it is a rigged system. People forget that it's a level playing. It's really not. But is this the solution?
With all his mishigas, for lack of a better word, with all his mishigas, he is the one guy that's taking on these things. Yes, China has been an unfair trading partner, depending on what industry. I'm in the energy business, for example, and we know, for example,
energy and food.
And food, right? Sure. Well, we fry our French fries in oil.
Understood.
So I'm in the oil business as a result.
Understood.
So, but on the energy side of it, in all seriousness, we know our equipment, our piping, our drilling, all will be raising prices, suppliers rather, but we also know if the steel industry picks up, they're going to be using more energy.
So any of this, the tariffs wouldn't directly affect you per se, right? Maybe if you buy a lot of metal, aluminum, steel-based,
for the drilling industry, for the oil field services
or even
industry,
in your restaurants,
or even in the restaurants. Certainly equipment, certainly in the equipment side of it. But the reality is, I don't think it comes off. And the 45-day cooling period is a good back off from it, from what was very pugnacious to begin with, and now we sit back and there's discussions behind the scenes. I'll bet you that it doesn't happen.
All right, and it might not. Now. In your industry, people, for example, in your Apple restaurants, Applebee's, I apologize, when they go there, that's an impulse type of a thing. You don't just willy-nilly go out, especially if you're concerned about your finances. But you were telling me, since the tax cuts, since the refund period that's going on, people are more predisposed to live a little.
Absolutely, and it's not just live a little, it's what you're ordering. So baby back ribs are much more expensive than a hamburger, and and are you ordering an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert?
So the actual tickets have gone up.
The tickets have gone up. We're sort of a mini laboratory of the country with about 3,000 people from all walks of life, and yeah, it's working.
You're talking about all your workers.
All our workers and our guests, our people that come in.
What are they telling you? The ones who work there, have they noticed it in their checks?
Without a doubt.
And what do they tell you?
They're the minorities, the brown, black, all the different colors. 80% of our company, I am proud to say, are minorities. They're cheering. They're cheering the President of the United States. Now, if you'd have said that before these elections, you would lock me up. If I'd have said that, you'd have had me locked up.
So you think this is very real, very palpable, but would they be the same ones to give Republicans a shot in the midterms? Because almost every poll you see says, oh, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's like the tariffs. I don't think anybody knows anything. I think everything, including the pulling the handle in the voting booth, is going to be an impulse. And one thing Donald Trump has done is he's created a lot of uncertainty in the country, which maybe at this time is good. I don't know. Yeah. But we all are a bit uncertain.
Now, I don't know who you manage. I know you're very successful at what you do, but there's been sort of upheaval at the White House, people coming and going. Now the latest to go might be the VA secretary, but we're seeing a lot of this. And does that offset the gains to you, or the apparent gains that you're seeing when it looks like just confusion going on at the moment?
Well, it's all part of the macro of trade wars, confusion. It's all in that confusion. I don't think this confusion is intentional. I think Donald Trump's a pretty tough guy.
Anthony Scaramucci had likened it to a startup. It's this kinetic energy that's there. Do you buy that?
No, not at all. It's certainly not a startup. There's a lot of history in the office. A lot of history in Washington. Call it swamp, call it bureaucrats, call it what you want. No, it's anything but a startup. It's just having difficulty of interfacing with the leadership.
Do you think any of that news, the good news that the president has been having, gets out there when 60 Minutes is talking to people like Stormy Daniels and all this other stuff comes up, that this stuff gets sort of pushed aside?
I'm not sure, because if you saw that, I'm sure you did, Neil, the data that 60 Minutes was the highest watched program in the history of 60 Minutes last night, 20 million viewers.
Does that worry you?
No. No, I think it's
Why did you mention it?
I mention it because people are interested more from a soap opera point of view than they are.
But does that soap opera, justified or not, Zane, worry you that less attention is being paid to the things that you care about?
No, it's a distraction. I don't think that after you switch the channel and it's over, it's like watching a good movie.
Was it playing in the Applebee's restaurants that you owned last night?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Very good, my friend. Zane Tankel, Apple Metro CEO, so much more. And he stayed thin in the food business. That's impossible.